Hello, thank you for joining this very fast interview with us. I have a question. Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, these are leaders that everybody heard of. What's wrong with the others?
I don't think there's anything wrong with the others. In fact, the leaders you probably haven't heard of are doing just as good a job as the leaders you have. What's interesting is as soon as we talk about leadership, we tend to revert to the sort of heroic leaders, the exemplars, Churchill, Napoleon, Jobs, Gates, etc. And I think the challenge for us is to change our mindset about that. And if you speak to those leaders, what's interesting is they all, well, Steve Jobs is dead, God rest his soul, but they will all try and encourage leadership to see something that's happening wider across an organization rather than seeing leadership like mud, i.e. it just slides downhill.
During your keynote in the morning, you said that these guys on the bottom, they know, these on the tops, they don't know. And there was an idea to use Scrum in this environment that is full of uncertainty and it's non-deterministic. How would you sell Scrum to top leadership?
Well, I would first caveat about what leaders do and don't know. They don't know the answers, but they do know the questions. So leaders probably know what the problems are, but they don't know what the answers are. And therefore, we need, because things are so fast moving, it's nothing to do with the leadership, it's more to do with the context. So in terms of selling Scrum internally, I think what Scrum offers an organization is the capability to pull solutions rather than push. It's the capability to solve problems in a very fast-moving and dynamic situation. And typically that has been the domain of software, but actually what's happening now, and I think what companies are becoming aware of, is that's happening increasingly all over the areas, from culture change to markets to all sorts of areas. And therefore Scrum, I think, has a great opportunity to, what I call, come out of the closet, come out of the IT software closet, and actually begin to offer another way which is more, if you like, adaptable to get change implemented.
When you start working with executives, what's the first thing you're interested in when you meet such a new customer?
Well, we're in the business of leadership development. The first question I ask is, if leadership development is the solution, what's the problem?
And what's usually the answer?
It varies. It varies a lot. I think if there are any common trends or patterns, it's to do with the need for speed. Things are too slow. The need for more innovation and initiative taking at lower levels. And the need for leaders to understand that their role is not actually to tell people what to do, it's to enable them to get the work done. And that's a very different mindset.
Okay, so what are the ingredients of a model proper leader in this busy world nowadays?
I think the first thing is to get off the hamster wheel. Yeah, because it's a busy world and therefore leaders are busy. But actually, in our research and many other people's research, about 30 to 50% of time spent by managers and leaders is wasted, doing stuff that is just not necessary. Now, that's not to say they're stupid. It's just to say that they don't know they don't know anything else. So they know the deterministic way of managing, and what we bring is a view of complexity science, which enables them to understand that the more complex things are, this is counterintuitive, the more complex things are, the less traditional leadership is needed. Therefore, to answer your question within that context, the key element, I guess, is for leaders to understand when not to lead and when not to act. And then if they can understand that, the rest is easy.
Final question. What would be your piece of advice for young Scrum Masters that face executives and their needs?
My key advice for young Scrum Masters when they face executives is to watch out they don't become Scrum slaves, and to position Scrum as a method of pulling solutions quickly, but also understand where executives are coming from, and therefore to ask as many questions as propose solutions.
Nick, thank you very much for this conversation. I wish you a good day and the rest of the conference.